Now at 5 on WRTV, a multi-million-dollar lawsuit lodged against Indiana's Department of Child Services. Why one family believes the agency took their kids under false pretenses.
It's been sitting half-finished for over a year now, and the community just wants answers. WRTV is working to hold whoever's in charge of this stalled Speedway project accountable.
In one central Indiana county, it's a fight that's gotten personal for families with deep roots in farming. Why they say a solar power could mean a setback.
What if something would have happened to my baby? Because I'm constantly telling you, something's not right.
These women are sick of not being heard by their doctors. The new movement to hold health care accountable as Black and Latina women make up way more than their share of COVID-19 hospitalizations.
From the station working for you, this is WRTV News at 5, streaming now.
Welcome in. I'm Amanda Starantino.
And I'm Mark Mullins.
Tonight we are working to get to the bottom of an unusual case, a lawsuit filed against Indiana DCS.
A family is calling for change in how the Indiana Department of Child Services operates. The couple filed a multi-million-dollar lawsuit against the department, accusing the agency of tearing apart their family based on false allegations, then dropping the claims. The lawsuit alleges that Indiana DCS violated policies when it comes to interviewing minors. The couple is seeking $3 million in damages now.
When this is all said and done, with every breath of our being, we're going to fight to see that this actually gets reformed somehow, some way, so children are truly being protected.
Attorneys for the family say the goal of the lawsuit was to hold DCS accountable and compensate the family for violation of their civil rights and emotional distress. WRTV did reach out to DCS for comment, and we are waiting to hear back. Tonight at 6, more details on why the family says even though they are reunited, they just can't let go of the situation.
It could be any time now that a decision comes down in the case of Breonna Taylor. Her death at the hands of police has fueled demonstrations in Louisville and across the nation. Right now, the city is on edge and under a state of emergency as the community waits for Kentucky's Attorney General to deliver a decision. This morning, residents woke up to alerts that streets were being shut down as leaders enacted restrictions across downtown Louisville. Mayor Greg Fisher says the emergency order was put in place due to the potential for civil unrest. There have been calls for criminal charges to be brought against the officers who shot and killed Taylor in her apartment back in March.
This week, protests have grown against the immediate filling of the U.S. Supreme Court seat left vacant by iconic Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg, who died last Friday. Today, we are learning Indiana Senator Mike Braun's response to protests in Indianapolis. Senator Braun says he believes the Senate should move quickly to confirm the new justice and not wait to see who wins the November presidential race first. Republicans have faced criticism for reversing the position they held before the 2016 election when they blocked a vote on President Obama's Supreme Court nominee for months.
And there hasn't been much time for mourning the death of Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg as the political fight over replacing her began the night she died and has been intensifying by the minute. ABC's Andrew Dimbert is following the political battle for the bench in Washington, D.C.
Republicans falling in line to streamline a new Supreme Court justice.
If a nominee actually reaches the floor, that I will vote based upon the qualifications of that nominee.
After the passing of civil rights champion and iconic liberal justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg, the Republican-controlled Senate is pressing on to fill her seat.
Great. We will fill that seat.
The president has the constitutional authority to nominate a justice regardless of how close to an election an opening occurs. The full Senate then would have to vote to confirm that nominee with a simple majority. The process, though, morphing into an ugly political battle on Capitol Hill.
Leader McConnell has defiled the Senate like no one in this generation. And Leader McConnell may very well destroy it.
Democrats want the Senate to wait until the American people have voted on who they want to be president and which party they want to control Congress before placing a new justice on the bench. Republicans want to move now.
We have an obligation under the Constitution, should we choose to take advantage of it, with a president of the same party as the Senate, to advance the nomination.
Go back to 2016 when President Obama tried to appoint a justice in an election year, and the arguments were mostly the same. But a major change this time, which side of the debate Democrats and Republicans are taking.
If an opening comes in the last year of President Trump's term and the primary process is started, we'll wait to the next election.
Now in 2020, he says he will vote to confirm a Trump nominee. Likewise, Democrats in 2016 wanted to appoint a justice in an election year, but in 2020,
this president shall not choose the nominee to fill the vacancy, but the next president, whoever it may be, will have that opportunity.
The wait will be short-lived. Trump tweeting he will announce his pick this Saturday.
They say it's the most important thing a president can do.
And sources tell ABC News that Amy Coney Barrett is the frontrunner to land this nomination. She's a former clerk for Justice Antonin Scalia and is strongly supported by anti-abortion activists. Andrew Dimbert, ABC News, Washington.
The other major issue tied up in the election, COVID-19, and today marked more than 200,000 deaths in the U.S. since the start of the pandemic. And health experts aren't optimistic as we head into the fall and winter. They have been saying for months the virus is airborne and can transmit in places with poor ventilation, like some restaurants and some gyms. Doctors say with the flu and other viruses, as we go indoors, states may need to roll out restrictions again. Here in Indiana, we are still seeing daily reported cases significantly higher than they were back in June at the lowest point of the pandemic. Today's cases were at 652. Since the start of the pandemic, nearly 113,000 Hoosiers have been diagnosed with COVID-19, and 3,295 people in Indiana have died with the virus. 9 new deaths were also reported in today's numbers.
Construction is expected to resume on a major hotel project in Speedway. It's a story we've been following for the past year now. The hotel sits right across from the street from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. WRTV's Megan Sanctorum has the latest we learned today.
Construction on this half-built hotel has been stalled for more than a year, but Speedway town leaders are announcing progress and a new partnership agreement. When you look at this prominent corner in Speedway, not much has changed from this time last year. We told you when construction came to an abrupt halt last summer. Town leaders say the developer, Loftus Robinson, experienced financing issues. The developer missed town deadlines for work stoppages and was unable to provide updated timelines. But now a new partnership between Loftus Robinson and Indianapolis-based MHG Hotels will get this project moving again. Town leaders say the next step is site cleanup, re-engineering, and financing details. They anticipate construction to begin in the spring. Some local business owners on Main Street say this has been a long time coming, but they're happy to hear progress is being made.
It's kind of like the key of, it's right on the roundabout. They've done so much work up and down Main Street, and that's kind of the first thing you see, and it's kind of been an eyesore. So we're excited.
Working for you, Megan Sanctorum, WRTV.
Developer Loftus Robinson released a statement today saying they are excited to have MHG Hotels added as a co-developer and partner for this project. They said they are committed to seeing this 127-room hotel project through to completion. MHG will also manage the finished Hilton Tapestry Hotel. Kevin, it's a big day today.
It is. We're hours into the change of seasons. Thought I'd really bring it to life here. Leaves falling, colorful, all of that. We've got a lot more color to come. It'll be interesting to see here with these dry conditions how that may impact some of the fall color. Temperatures, another comfortable day. 75 in Indy. Our high was 77, by the way. These temperatures pretty much stay the same for the rest of the week. They'll push the low 80s by the time we get to the weekend. There'll be a couple changes that come with that. We'll talk about that in the main weather. There are the comfortable temperatures, humidity still very low. There is smoke higher up in the atmosphere from the western fires. That's given everything here kind of a hazy look. It may lead to some colorful sunsets. Step to the wrong side. I left room over here for me. Temperatures tonight drop into the low 60s by midnight. It will be a warmer night. We'll stay in the 50s. That's the way we start tomorrow. Temperatures right back in the upper 70s. Another dry day. If you want rain, we'll look at a couple opportunities. That's coming up in just a bit.
When you have ties to the land that go back generations, changes can feel personal. Still ahead on WRTV, the tensions behind the fight over solar power in one central Indiana county.
There's one group of women whose health is being negatively affected far more often during the pandemic. We show you the movement to make their voices heard next when the news at 5 continues on WRTV. The father of a former IU basketball star, Damon Bailey, has died following a motorcycle crash.
The crash also sent Bailey's mother to the hospital with serious injuries. The Brown County Sheriff's Office says Wendell Bailey died in the crash that happened Monday afternoon on State Road 46, just east of State Road 135. That's near Nashville, Indiana. The condition of Bailey's mother has not been released.
For more than a year, WRTV has been following controversy within the Northwest Hendricks School Corporation. School leaders have faced criticism for how they handled sexual misconduct allegations involving a teacher and a student. 3 candidates are challenging 2 incumbents for 2 open school board seats in Northwest Hendricks. The challengers are David Pyatt, Abby Morgan, and Joe Brooks. The incumbents, Jim Diagostino and Craig Peoples, have been criticized for removing public comment from board meetings and not taking swifter action involving misconduct involving Tri-West employees. All 3 challengers say they want to make changes and improve transparency and communication between the board and the community. WRTV will be talking to all 3 challengers, Abby Morgan, Joe Brooks, and Dave Pyatt, live on the WRTV Facebook page on Wednesday at 5 p.m. Make sure to join us for the School Board Candidate Forum for Northwest Hendricks. Again, that is Wednesday at 5 p.m. on the WRTV Facebook page. The incumbents have not agreed to join us.
It's a personal fight for many families with historical ties to their farmlands in Shelby County. It's a project that supporters say would bring clean energy to the area, but family pleas are being rejected by the local leaders. Here's WRTV's Rafael Sanchez with the story.
Move to adjourn. Second, meeting adjourned.
Shelby County Commissioners once again shot down another request for a 6-month moratorium from property owners seeking to beef up an ordinance focused on a solar power project.
What harm could it do? I mean, we're not out here against the property owners today. We're not out here against the company today. We're out here asking for a 6-month moratorium to protect our people.
Outside, in this circle, people raising concerns that solar panels could be installed on prime farmland, which they say could be a setback for the local economy and environment.
I'm here just to provide answers on how I think personally solar is good, and I'd be more than happy to talk about that after the meeting.
Sean Kavanaugh is the one going door to door, seeing who's interested in S-Power's plan on a solar project. Kavanaugh can't talk to the media, but he says people have shown interest in selling or leasing their property.
If we move forward with S-Power, there will be several years of study before it's decided. I will be contracting with someone from Purdue as a consultant.
Those in opposition, they promise not to go away.
Once one of these groups comes in and they apply for this, in as little as 1 month, maybe 2 months, it can be passed, and there's nothing anybody can do about it.
That was WRTV's Rafael Sanchez reporting. Tonight, the people reviewing the county's current ordinance with the Planning Commission will have a public discussion on the matter.
Well, we've had lots of sunshine, certainly over the last 35, 40 days. Minimal rainfall, 0.04 of an inch, I think, in the last 35 days in Indianapolis. Temperatures coolest in Columbus, warmest in Muncie right now at 79, but we're all comfortably in the 70s with low humidity, and you see the kind of gauze like the hazy view. Temperatures at 70s in central Indiana, but summer rages on to the west. You can see temperatures well into the 80s up into the North Dakota area. 87 in Bismarck, Minneapolis at 82. We'll see the lower 80s briefly over the weekend. That will be Saturday. Humidity will come up just a little bit. That'll at least increase our chance for rain. The gray here represents the smoke at the upper levels, 15, 20,000 feet in the air. That will be around again tomorrow, but I think it'll be a little less noticeable, and the thicker smoke off to the north and east. The veil of clouds and temperatures tonight will be warmer because of that. 53 for the overnight low will snap our string of mornings in the 40s. Temperatures as we go through the next several days unchanged, pretty much a persistence forecast. What happens today happens tomorrow. The one change that will arrive will be somewhat warmer temperatures over the weekend with a chance for rain. There are the highs during the day tomorrow. The wind will be light out of the southwest. As you look at Thursday, I think a few more clouds, especially southern half of the state. If we see any showers, they're more likely toward the Ohio River. Temperatures again close to, but probably falling short of 80 for the high. Temperatures as we go beyond all of central Indiana in the upper 70s. As we go beyond the weekend, it will get much cooler, but the weekend right now seems to be the warmest part of the 7-day forecast. 81 Saturday. The chance of a thunderstorm Saturday night, a little better chance on Sunday. Again, I don't think it's going to be all that widespread. We'll take whatever rain we can get. Monday, 73, and Tuesday we'll start a string of days with below average temperatures. You look at the 6 to 10 or 8 to 14 day outlook and it shows below average temperatures for central Indiana. Temperatures through Friday with very low chances of rain only hit 80. Our chance for rain is greatest Saturday night into Sunday. Monday and Tuesday some showers still around as the cooler air flows into central Indiana. We'll spend the day in the 60s. Next Tuesday, a high of just 68 degrees. Amanda?
Thanks, Kevin. A report from the CDC shows pregnant minorities with COVID are more likely to end up in the ICU. Our partners at Newsy spoke with a pregnant woman who says doctors ignored her pleas for a test. Amber Strong reports.
There's a health disparity in the U.S., and researchers from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention say COVID-19 may be making it worse for pregnant women. Bree Markey Johnson says she knew something wasn't right when she arrived at the hospital for delivery.
I kept having a fever, like a low-grade fever, and they were like, this kind of comes with pregnancy and labor sometimes, so it could just be it. And I'm like, but do I need to be tested?
After giving birth, she was discharged despite chills and a fever she says wouldn't go away.
When I would suck in, I was having difficulty breathing.
4 days later, she was back in the hospital. The diagnosis, COVID-19. New data from the CDC shows pregnant women who are Hispanic or Black might have disproportionately higher rates of COVID-19 associated hospitalization. The number of Black and Hispanic pregnant women hospitalized outpaces the same groups of women who aren't pregnant. The CDC says identifying COVID-19 during birth hospitalizations is important to guide preventive measures. Markey Johnson says that didn't happen.
What if something would have happened to my baby? Because I'm constantly telling you, something's not right.
We found that in hearing about the stories of women who died due to pregnancy-related complications, that an overarching theme was that women really weren't being heard.
CDC Reproductive Health Director Dr. Wanda Barfield tells Newsy that's the driving force behind Hear Her.
To help other women speak up and be heard.
A campaign that encourages women to listen to their bodies and providers to listen to women. The ads aren't in response to the pandemic, but an overall warning for a nation that experienced 658 pregnancy-related deaths in 2018, with Black women accounting for twice the number of deaths as whites.
And I still remember to this day what that voicemail said. And he said, April, this is Dr. So-and-so, and I'm calling to let you know I received your latest results. And unfortunately, this is not a viable pregnancy.
April Wofford says she disagreed, told the doctor as much, and got a second opinion.
Had I not been my own advocate and had I just taken what he said as truth, my son would not be here. And every day I think about that.
Dr. Joy Creer-Perry, who testified before Congress and the UN on Black maternal death, tells Newsy it's rare for minority women to speak up. And when they do speak, sometimes they aren't heard. A problem that's been woven into gynecological history.
One of the founders of modern gynecology was Dr. J. Marion Sims. He practiced on 3 Black women who were enslaved, Lucy, Betsy, and Anarcha, without any anesthesia, even though anesthesia at the time existed. He put in textbooks that he could do this on Black women who were enslaved because we did not feel pain.
Now, investigators are still researching the COVID-19 pregnancy disparities and say it could be anything from the jobs certain minority women work to bias. But Dr. Creer-Perry tells me those are all simply symptoms of an issue centuries in the making. Amber Strong, Newsy, Northern Virginia.
Full moon Saturday night. Halloween was supposed to be one of the most fun in years, and it still can be if you keep it safe. The CDC's official guidance on how to stay COVID-19 free this All Hallows Eve. That's still to come on WRTV. The CDC has issued its first guidelines for celebrating Halloween amid the COVID-19 pandemic.
So bad news first. Traditional trick-or-treating is high risk, as are crowded indoor costume parties, indoor haunted houses, and hay rides with people not in a family or who do not live together. A way you could trick-or-treat that's moderate risk would be to do one-way trick-or-treating, setting pre-stuffed bags out for families to take. Also, try outdoor parties if you want to socialize. And low-risk activities from the CDC include carving pumpkins with your family, watching scary movies at your home, and having a virtual Halloween costume contest.
New at 6 tonight on WRTV, the message of stopping domestic violence is more important than ever as the community remembers one little boy inside the silent struggle.
And Halloween's clearly not the only thing changing due to COVID-19, but with all of the concerts and games canceled this year, it should be easier to get a refund. The warning you need to hear about StubHub. Ahead on the news at 5:30 on WRTV.